Now, those figures that we have been releasing since Wednesday are quite mind-boggling, and I want to bring in my colleague, John Allen. John, the first day we spoke of 2.9 billion. Yesterday we spoke of 105 million actually.
Yep.
Today we're talking about 5.7 billion.
And if the public keeps this tally running, they'll understand just how it is that 30 to 40% of Kenya's GDP can just go missing.
Wow.
And it's in all of these different pockets. But as you can see, the figure is every day. It's breathtaking, and it gets worse. Let me just get into why this money is unaccounted for. And the figure, like Betty said, is 5,795,023,980 shillings unaccounted for by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Keep in mind that this isn't including the amount of money that was spent and accounted for, but challenged by the Public Accounts Committee with respect to the procurement of BVR kits, of EVIDs, of ERTs for the election. Remember, there were issues with that procurement. So if you add that to that figure, it is absolutely staggering. But let's get into why this figure adds up to this amount. And the first figure, and we need to look to, is to the majority of this: 4,690,168,908 shillings. And that is for irregular hire of transport by the regional offices of the IEBC during the voter registration period. Now, the accounting officer, who was James Oswago at the time, the CEO, explained this away as being the fact that they needed this travel to be done by the regional offices in order for the election voter registration drive to take place. But nonetheless, there was no audit trail in terms of the paper trail accounting for almost the entire amount of that 5,975,000,000. And there are the recommendations. The accounting officer should submit vouchers by December 2014 or be personally held liable. Now, this is a story with all of the amounts that we've been seeing missing, right from the internal security budget to the petrol station that wasn't built in State House yesterday. Lots of money going in, but no paper trail, no audit. The second figure that we need to look to is 96,152,389 shillings. And this, again, irregular foreign travel expenditure. Now, what happened was the IEBC dipped into the domestic travel expenditure budget and used it for foreign travel. Again, the accounting officer tried to explain this away, but again, where is the audit trail? And the recommendation: appointing authority should be held accountable, should hold accountable the accounting officer, who was James Oswago at the time, for the amount if he cannot prove where this amount was spent. Now, there's lots of money that's been going missing. The third figure that we have today is 8,015,000 shillings 53 cents, and that was in excessive basic salaries. Again, reason being, we don't really have credible reasons according to the PAC with respect to why these amounts have been spent. Again, the accounting officer should have been held liable for these amounts. The list goes on. I mean, the figures in here that we haven't been able to include, including 1,380,000 for entertainment allowances of 17 officers. That was irregular. So there also are amounts that run into the smaller millions and not just the billions. Now, who are we adding to the wall of the accused today? Let's take a look. We started with Mutea Iringo. We went to Francis Kimemia and Ben Kehia, that senior accountant in the Ministry of Internal Security. We had Dr. Nelson Githinji yesterday, as well as Zachary Mburi Mwita and Lawrence Lenayapa, all of them having been State House comptrollers. And today, the new face on the list, James Oswago, someone who has been charged at least with being the accounting officer at a time when 5,795,000,000 shillings of your money, taxpayers' money, went missing during 2012 to 2013 during those audited accounts, and we still don't have that money, Betty. It's really the most shocking story to come out since the Goldenbergs and the Anglo leasings, and helps you understand that it isn't just the one scandals that take money away from Kenya. It is in these pockets in different government ministries, and as you saw with civil society today, the thing keeps on rolling. The gravy train is still moving and nobody's trying to stop it, Betty.
You know, Namu, our big question tonight is, should this be declared a national disaster, corruption? And from those figures and what we have been covering throughout the week, I think the answer is yes.
Most definitely. Just taking off my hat as a journalist and putting on mine as a Kenyan,
Yes.
definitely. We need to be worried about how our money is being spent. The 5,795 million could pay for the salaries of doctors almost twice over. The annual budget for doctor salaries is 3.2 billion. Keep in mind, in Lamu, there isn't a single doctor right now as we speak.
Sickening.
It is exactly that.
Quite sickening. And tomorrow you have a continuing coverage of the same.
All right.
All right.